Here are the 7 best stretches to help you improve your flexibility so you can do the splits. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and today we are going to go through 7 amazing stretches to help improve your flexibility so you can do the splits. The splits can be achieved if you practice stretching every single day. Your flexibility will gradually improve. Now, the best thing to remember is that your muscles are like rubber bands. So if you stretch a rubber band to 100% or overstretch to 110%, 120%, a rubber band can break. So it's better to stretch a rubber band to about 80%, and then the band will just improve its elasticity so it gets a little bit more spread out, and that's how you gradually improve your flexibility, by little tiny improvements every single day. So we don't want to force anything. If something hurts, please stop, listen to your bodies, and take this at your own pace. This might take you a year of stretching to be able to do the splits. This might take you a month or 2 months to do the splits. You might be able to do the splits in like 2 weeks. But everyone is different, and so take this at your own pace. Now, our first exercise is just to open up through the hip flexors. So I'm gonna start by taking my right foot forward and dropping my hips forward and tucking my tailbone down to the floor. So this is just going to release through the left hip flexor. Try to keep your chest lifted, opening up through the chest, and just dropping the tailbone down. So the first thing is just trying to open up to the hip flexors and releasing through the hips. So the key thing that we want to be thinking about when practicing for the splits is opening up through the hip flexors, the hamstrings, lengthening the hamstrings. Tighten our thighs can become an issue, so we're going to release those as well, and into the glutes a bit too. So you just want to be holding it here. You can even lift your hands up. Try to tuck the tailbone under a little bit more. Hold these stretches for about 20 to 30 seconds each, and then you're going to move on to the next one, which is a hamstring stretch. So you just lengthen that front leg, press your hips back. Hands can either stay on your hips, or if you feel good, those hands can come down to the floor. Just find the length through the back of the leg. Breathing right into it. Take your breath right into the muscles that you are stretching. So breathing in and finding that breath go right into the back of the leg to help it release. Great, now we're gonna come forward. Take that foot out to the side again, but tuck the back toes, lift the knee, and you're in a runner's lunge. Now usually we have the runner's lunge square, which you can do. You let your hips drop down to the floor, or you can just let the knee drop out to the side to open up through any tightness in the hips. Just hovering here, and then you can drop that back knee down and slide your foot across your mat for your pigeon stretch. Releasing here. So forearms come down to the mat, and if you feel really good, walk your hands out further. You can take your head right down to the mat. So this is going to just release into that right glute. Again, just holding it here. Breathing into it. Hopefully you'll start to feel like it slowly releases. Walking your hands back in, and we step that leg back to the other leg, and we change to the other side. So again, starting with the hip flexor stretch, tucking your tailbone under. Now this time we're releasing into the other side, so my right hip flexor is releasing, and you can take the hands up to the ceiling. Breathing into it just feels so nice. You'll get this into your everyday routine. It will just feel really, really nice as well. Just kind of relax as you do this stretch every day. It's really nice. And then press your hips back. Hamstring stretch. Now remember, one side might be a little tighter than the other, and that's okay. So once you're in that hamstring stretch, pull that hip back to really square those hips off. Hands can come down to the mat. Keep pressing your chest forward. Try to lengthen through the spine and the back. Breathing right into the back of the leg here. There are loads of different hamstring stretches you can take as well. If you're not a fan of this one, you can always lie on your back and draw the leg to you, but I do find that the gravity helps you a little bit more here. And then when you're ready, walk your hands forward, bring your weight forward, tuck your back toes, lift that back knee off the floor, and let your hips drop down to the floor. Now, if you find that your hip flexors aren't so tight, you might not feel some of these stretches as much as others. So any stretch that feels really challenging, that's a cue to you that you want to hold those stretches a little bit longer. So just hovering here. And releasing it down. Bringing that foot across. And relaxing forward. Love the little glute stretch. You can walk those hands forward as well. So these are our first 4 stretches. And then walk your hands back in. So now going into our 5th stretch, we're gonna try to open up through the hips and release into the inner thighs. So you're going to bring your feet together and your knees out to the side. So I'm gonna show you this way, but feel free to change yourself so your knees are still on your mat and you just sit into a frog position here. If you can drop all the way down to the floor, feel free, but there can be some tightness in the hips and you might just be hovering here, and that's absolutely fine. Just breathe into it. Just relax. In, bring those knees back together. And now I'm going to take a full straddle stretch. I'm going to take my legs towards the edges of my mat, walk my hands forward, trying to keep my knees still pointing up to the ceiling, and then flattening my chest down towards the floor. I can walk my hands all the way out, release forward. So don't worry if you're up here today, that's okay. Just breathe into it day by day to see if you can go a little centimeter further, a little centimeter further. Who knows, maybe in 6 months you'll be down here. You'll be lying down here. So set yourself easy, attainable goals, yeah? Make them attainable, make them, especially with stretching, you just need to make them small and achievable. Be very patient with your body. This is going to help you get into those center splits. And walking it back in. Now notice I have this block behind me. So if you don't have a block, you could use a cushion or a stack of books or anything. What I'm going to do is pop this at the front of my mat. Now, in order to do the splits, what I can do is just lengthen my front leg, bend the back knee, and then press it back. And then just practice by folding forward here, right? And then eventually, all we have to do is lengthen out the back leg behind us. But what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna pop my foot on top of this block here. I'm gonna use my hands, lift myself up and try to extend that back leg. Now my back leg is still bent at the moment, that's fine. I'm using my hands to support myself, and I'm going to stay lifted so my hips are still off the floor. And I'm going to gradually see if I can square my hips a little bit closer to the floor. Yeah? So everybody has different hip joints as well, so some people will be able to do the splits really easily, and some people will not be. And I know you were just like, that's just not fair. And it's okay. Everybody's bodies are so different, and some of us just do not have it in us to naturally be able to do the splits, but we can work towards it. So you might just be holding and hovering, yeah? And eventually we can take that block out And see if we can drop the hips a little closer to the floor like that. Getting closer to the splits. And then of course you just do the other side. So again, you might not be there today, that's okay. I'm just showing you where you will eventually get to if you practice these 7 stretches. Remember, the 7th stretch can simply start here today with that back knee bent, reaching forward. You don't even have to start with the block. The block just intensifies this last stretch, yeah? That is the advancement. So you're here just focusing on that hamstring stretch, reaching forward. And then when you're ready, the block comes underneath the heel, yeah? Extend that back leg further behind you and hover. So our knee is down on the floor, you're hovering, you're trying to square the hips off. And it's just a hold and a hover. Breathing into it, taking your time, don't force anything. Remember, one side might feel a little bit tighter than the other, and that's absolutely fine, that's normal, yeah? So I think this side for me feels a little bit tighter. If I take the block out, let's have a little look. Sit all the way down to the mat on this side, so I'm gonna have to work on my left split a little bit more than my right. Just holding it and breathing into it. And remember, I could force it a bit more and I don't want to, because that will just, the overstretch, and then I'm gonna feel really sore tomorrow, and I don't want that. So I'm just gonna stretch to about 80% and just hold and hover, rather than force myself down into the splits. I don't wanna rip anything either. So, those are 7 stretches that you can use to help you get into your splits. I hope you found them useful. I hope you become more flexible and supple through your body. And maybe one day you'll be able to pull off those party tricks. Just hit the splits. Yeah, so I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure you like this video, give it a big thumbs up, and make sure you comment in the box below. And if you're new to the channel, make sure you hit subscribe and the notification button, so that way you know every time a new video is out and ready for you, which come out on Mondays, just in case you didn't know. And you can also find me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Until then, I will see you next Monday for another amazing video.